Hey everybody! So hopefully you guys got to watch the video on the Tuskegee experiment on Friday, and you did your case study. I don't have all of those turned in yet, so please get those turned in because today will be 3 days late. So if I don't have it by the end of class on Wednesday, then it'll be a 0. So be sure you get your case studies turned in. Also, because this is such a huge legal and ethical issue, as well as a lot of our medical ethics and a lot of our ethical ethical laws related to experimentation. This is where a lot of that law came into place. There was no medical law prior to 1947, so you'll be able to see that some of this influences it. This is a very important part of medical history. It's a part of history we don't ever want repeated. So you're going to actually write a paper. This is going to be kind of your test grade over. We've already gone over a little bit of law and ethics, but it's going to cover law and ethics again. It's going to cover some of the research that's required because you'll have to look at medical and ethical and legal data to do this paper. So you have to put in a little bit of work. It does count as a test grade, so please be sure that you're taking it seriously. Let me read through and tell you what I expect. You need to create an original essay discussing the seriousness of cardiac syphilis. So I want you to tell me what cardiac syphilis does and how it can affect the body. They'll also discuss the ethical issues based on the lecture and literature available. So the lecture, you can reference the lecture, as well as there is a huge number of papers and journal articles that have been written. So use Google Scholar to look that up. But based on the lecture and literature available, I want you to include some of the key players that Mr. Jones or Dr. Jones talked about in the video, and that you can find online, as well as how their unethical behaviors affected the population of Macon County, Alabama. So discuss kind of what you heard, what you read, as far as how it impacted the people from that community. And then part of this paper, I want you to tell me if you feel like this could happen today and if so, under what circumstances. Defend your argument using legislative reasonings. If you feel like it could not happen, there's a lot of legislation both ways. So what you're going to do is you're going to Google medical ethical law, and you're going to look up research ethics laws. Those kind of things are going to give you information to defend your argument. It should be done in APA format. There is a Google Doc, and you need to do this on Google Docs. There's a Google Doc that has APA format. I'm going to show that to you real quick, and then I'm going to show you what you need to take out that I don't expect you to do in this paper. Because it's an essay, you're not doing an in-depth research paper or lab report, but it will help you put it in the right format. So here's the APA report. Now, and I will take out the things you don't need, and I will share this, each one of you a copy of this. So we're not going to do the author's note. I do not expect you guys to do this author's note because, guess what? You're doing it by yourself. You don't have to do an abstract. Now, if we look in here, I've got to kind of delete back up. We're going to do the title of your paper. Now, pretty much after you get the title of your paper there in the center, you're going to basically just start your essay. And I'm going to put that here. Essay begins here. Because what this tells you is basically what you would be doing is the discussion piece. But then it'll show you how to set your references up. So I'm going to leave the references there. I'm going to put introductory paragraph. Introductory paragraph. Make sure that's indented. Let me go back and see if it, yeah, and be sure it's indented. Then you're going to have first body. This needs to say with thesis statement. Sorry, And then you're going to have your second paragraph. Fingers aren't wanting to type this morning, guys. Sorry about that. Third paragraph, and so on. I will not give you I'm not going to give you a paper or a word count on this, but just be sure that you look at your rubric that goes along with this, and also be sure that you answer all of the questions. Now let me flip back over to what we're talking about. And then if you'll look down here, it gives you how to put your references together. So the author's last name, first initial, the year it was published, the title of the source without caps except proper nouns, or the first word after the colon. Then this would be where it came from. The journal article it came from would be in italics. The volume, the issue number, and the page number. So you're going to be sure, and here's one on how to do the web address. Okay, so it gives you a few examples there. Online journal, and then that's from a URL. So it gives you some examples of how to do that. So I will make sure I add a copy of. So you guys will all have a copy of this. And then you guys can work it with it. I do expect it to have a running header, which is an abbreviated title of your paper. The main title of your paper, your name, your school, Paris ISD, and then you're going to go down, or Cooper ISD or Cumbie ISD. You're going to tell me the name of your school, and then you're going to start your paper, okay? All right, if you have questions about that, email me. So I'll make sure that you have a copy of that on there. Let me go back to where we were. Cite all the sources within your paper. Now, what that means is within your paper, say you're going to reference the lecture that you watched. That would just be in parentheses. Say you quoted him or you paraphrased him, Dr. Jones, in your paper. It would, in the paper, it would be Jones, 2015, and that would be in parentheses because 2015 is the year that lecture was given. Okay, now, and then you have objectives, some questions that hopefully by the time, or some things that you will have had to do to create this paper. There is, if you have questions about, and let me add Google Scholar on here. If you have questions about how to use APA format, Purdue OWL, if you look right here, Purdue OWL, there's the website that will give you all of the information you need related to APA format. And then this is the link for the lecture in case you need that as well. And once again, it'll be based on the rubric. So you guys are going to have today in class, which is Monday, Tuesday, and it will be due at the end of class on Wednesday. I will be there on Wednesday, so by the time you leave class, I should be able to pull up on my phone or pull up on my Chromebook and be able to see that you have turned your paper in. After Wednesday, it will start counting off 10 points a day. So, and then I will only accept it, so I'll accept it Wednesday for full credit, Thursday for a maximum grade before I grade it of a 90, Friday a maximum grade of an 80 before I grade it, and then the Monday would be a 70, and Tuesday would be a 50, would be the maximum grade you could make next week. So be sure that you are turning this in on time. I'm going to grade this, so be sure you're turning it in on time, okay? And hopefully you've got everything caught up and you're good to go. So if you have any questions, please send me a message, and I will be there. I will be there Wednesday to see you guys. Thanks so much.